Hello, good evening everyone. By names of Amanya Laban, 2020 BIT 026 PS, and I'm here basically or majorly to present about like my project regarding database management system as entitled to do or as asked to do. Basically, like my project title or the database that I'm to work on is all about hospital management system, and the area of interest within that very database is health, because you know that in this very world you cannot live without health. So that is my area of interest within that specific database to work on. And another thing, like possible databases that are found within that very area include record management system, patient stock management system, staff management system, and drug management system. And basically, me, I had to choose among those possible databases. I had to come up with a best choice, of which I hopefully believe that is the best and the right choice, of which is patient stock management system. It was not out of like an outlook or out of just a mere thought. No, it was out of the research that I made, all due to the following reasons as put here under. The first thing or the first reason that I can give why did I choose patient stock management system is all about maintaining doctor-patient relationship, as within that particular database, patient will be like entitled to collaborate with like the doctors. How a patient will be able to forward the question depending like major like regarding drug prescriptions, how they should take up their drugs, how they should handle themselves, how they should like take care of themselves, and the doctors will be able to give a reply in return. And I hopefully as the time goes, patient relationship with the doctors will be improving in this very world of ours. Then another thing is like to keep track of patients' information or regarding their health status. Basically, like about AIDS, so far people who are on AIDS are normally like given books of which are delicate, of which sometimes can be destroyed by weather conditions, personally, and even like those patients who are on the like vaccination stuff. Majorly, I can give an example of COVID. They could give us cards which are delicate. Personally, mine, I became the victim. I lost that very card, not because that I was like not taking care of it, but then due to that in the instance of bad weather and other stuffs, I came up to lose the card. But then with this particular database, a patient will be given like an ID, so that when you go there for the second time, you present only your ID card, so that you are given that ID card is put like in that particular database, which will end up taking the doctor or the patient or the person in charge of that database to link up to information or regarding your vaccination, whether you are coming for the second dose, whether you are coming for the second test. All those will be found in that particular database, of which I hopefully we are going to shift from manual to the digital world, as you know that this very world is digital, and we are entitled also to join and learn more things that are even more updated than the old versions of writing with pens and even books. Then another things like also to improve like on the patient record keeping management stuff. Yeah, this record keeping of books, hospitals using books, writing the patient's down information in that very book, it can be easily lost, and of which there is sometimes no backup. But then with this database management system, we'll be able to find the backup, whether the information is lost, but then we can rectify it or bring it back through the backup that we are going to have put. So I hopefully think that with that very backup, which is digital, from the manual stuff of writing within the hospital books, I think with that, patient's information will be easily available to and will be easily rectified. And that one is one of the instances why I'm opting for this database field to be built. And another thing, what drove me like to work on the patient management system stuff is to ensure that patients' drugs or drug abuse, regarding like prescriptions, are easily also improved on to some extent. Why? Because with the patients, they are given papers, maybe like on the COVID, where you could be given like a paper of which it was delicate even to the some extent of you going home, it may be easily lost like along the way, and you even the patient is not aware of what drugs should be like, how will he be able to take his drug or which procedures he or she will follow. But with this database, a patient will be able to interact with the doctors, asking them how they should take drugs, and hopefully drug abuse as well as like drug prescriptions will also be improved. Another thing, and lastly, and which is more interesting, is like a rise in COVID, where a patient is not even entitled to interact with the doctor himself or physically or even shaking hands. I hopefully believe that this is a time where we need to change our minds and know that this one building the database of patients, where patient or a doctor will not even be like interacting with the doctor physically or even like giving books of which they may be a victim of the one which like be in touch with the physical contact, where a doctor may be like getting the book from the patient who is having COVID, and the extent of it end up getting COVID. But then as a rise in COVID, when we end up using like this particular database, whereby a doctor is only entitled to put like a patient record only in our database of which you have built, not even like entitling to get the book from the patient. Yeah, hopefully that one will be like one of the strong measures how we can cut this COVID down. And those are the several reasons of which drove me to work on this or to opt for patient stock management system. Without like taking much of your time, I'm going to arise like the business case or what necessitated me or what the reasons for initiating patient stock management system, the business cases. Personally, I saw the increased loss of patient records, like I've told you. The hospitals have been using like the manual stuff of using books of which are easily even delicate, of which patients are, of which even they have been able to lose so patients' information many times. Maybe like those patients who are in AIDS who normally come all the time, all time to time. So I believe patient record money, the increased loss of those patients management system is one of the business cases, or one of the most initiating factors that drove me to think of this particular database. Then increased drug abuse, like how I told you, patients could easily lose their books on their way back home, or even their children could easily spoil them, and they could even forget what they have been told to do or how they have been told to take in their drugs. So for that matter, therefore, it is one also of the factors that has driven me to build this patient stock management system. Then another things like poverty among the people in Uganda. We are facing the poverty, which is the major factor of which we can't even live without even talking about, where even a single people or still homesteads are even unable to purchase the book of 500, which is even rising to 1,000. I hopefully believe that when we consider that in Uganda, even someone dying because of failing to have like a book for 500 to go for the treatment, I hopefully believe that for that matter, we need a database where a patient will only be given like an ID card after registration, so that when you come and you present your ID, even if you are like in Kampala or whether Mbarara or whether other town or whether Jinja, if you present your own ID, like how you are presenting this ID, NIN numbers, national identification number. So if you present it, they will be able to find your health status and even update it and even give you more information about that. So I hopefully think this is where by patients will not be required to take in the books for the treatment, only to master their ID numbers within their very head, which I hope that patients at least now will be like having smiling faces. Then another thing of which I can talk about is like the increased level of technology, whereby various systems have been like improved. We also need to advance from manual system of writing within the very books to also the advanced system. Then another things like another things like time at the hospitals, whereby writing books all the time, which is even whereby even some patients end up failing to be worked on as a result of time management. But with this particular database, where only the patient will be, where only like the doctor or the person in charge of the database will only be required to take like to enter only information, or whether the person has ever registered to only to update the information. I hopefully believe that this one will be the best choice of time saving. Then those are the various business cases that I had to come up with. Then tasks, what will the system do? That is the very interesting thing of which I can't live without saying. So personally, I have to first give you the overview of what the system will do, or what the tasks the system will be entitled to do. At first, the system will have to add people, new members who are coming. They will have to add your name, your age, the drug that, the disease or the test that they have made, the drugs that you have taken, the date of return if you are coming like for the second dose or for the second test, and the guidance how you should care about yourself. Then another one, the state or the region that you are living in, and the other staffs, the patient, like those who is AIDS, their person in charge, their second person in charge, in case like the person is sick and cannot be able to come, so the other person must also be registered so that we can easily maintain security of person's information. That should not come like an attacker who is seeking for patient's information, yet is not the one who is registered. So that the system will have to add all that information and include it in our database. So that when the person and the patient will have to be given an ID during the date of registration, ID number. So that when you come for the second time, they can use that very ID number so that they can find you or they can rectify your information within the very system. Then another thing, the system will have to update patient's information in case like you came for the second time, you are also sick. The other time you are treated and then this time you came back. So they would have to update the information, not to register you back. So they will have to add that information for the second date of treatment, second date of test. Then they have to add the other stuffs, and all that one will also be updated within our system. Then the system will also be able to give like members the ID number, like how I've told you. The system will also to give various information regarding like various diseases, how they should be treated, like first aid, like giving patients how they should care about them. So when they are suffering particular diseases, major like those on AIDS and those like with who are on vaccination and those like with various diseases which are all that dangerous, like hepatitis B, what of which require a lot of care for patients to be taken care of. So the system will also be able to give that information or to give that guidance concerning a particular patient. Then the system will also be like able to tell the number of hours of which the doctors have worked per day, because sometimes doctors cheat, even they don't attend. Like on they normally register when they are not there, but then the system will also be able to tell the number of hours worked, the number of patients the doctor has worked on per day, and the number like of drugs that the doctor has. And this will move like even that instance of corruption within like our particular hospitals. So I hopefully believe that also that one with, in case like the system, the patient dies, the system will also be able to keep that very information for 5 years, for security and other purposes. And those after the very 5 years, the system will be able to update, to delete that patient's information, so that we can maintain space and we also maintain other stuff, because the patient will be no more. Then the system will also be able to add the age of the patient, like as I've told you. The system will also be able to update the record, to add the new members, like those the system will be able to do. Then operations of the system. These are activities done normally, like daily activities done, so that we can increase on our value of the system. These like people, even doctors, even those health workers, they even want about like computing stuff of which you can't interact with the database, minus you using like the digital mode, the computers, the phones, the patients, where they will be interacting with the database. So hopefully we have to train our patients how to use it, like the phones, to interact with the database management system. And I think we have to train doctors how to put patients' information, how to update it, how to delete it, how to give even the feedback to the patients who are asking the questions. Then another thing, engaging patients and even like doctors in various talks regarding database management system, or regarding this digital world that we are living in. Then engaging like the database, engaging in database management talk shows, seminars, of which I hopefully believe that they will be of value, and those are the various operations that we can do, so as to increase on our heart on our operations of our database management that we are intending to build. Then another thing, user groups. What are the targeted members? Who are the people going to be interacting in this very system? Then we have doctors who will be entering the people's information, updating the staff, the nurses, as well. They'll also be doing so. The system managers as well, they can do that very well. Then lastly, the patients will be like getting information, getting feedback, asking questions. Also, those are also inclusive within the very system. Then what are the tangible benefits, or what are the benefits that we expect that this system will make? Of course, I can't live without saying improve decision making. As we know that doctors now, these days, lack information of what is happening like in the community. They don't know the specific diseases that are affecting the people within the very community. So with what the information always in the database, I think the doctors, even the Ministry of Health, even the government always can based on that very information, so that they can improve on their decisions regarding like how they can budget for the people, and they can even be aware of the possible diseases that are affecting the people within this very world of ours. So I hopefully believe that that one is the best way of how they can improve on our health status and other stuff through that budgeting. Then accuracy of data regarding the patients, like patients accuracy, like if you make like a mistake, you can easily rectify it within the database stuff. You can make like changes and update the record, rather than like if the books where you have to cross and even everything looks not so nice. Then time saving, as you are aware that this digital world is like more timely, even like time saving, like than that manual stuff of registering patients using the books per patient. What if there are like around thousands patients, which means it will take a lot of time for you to get out of that. So at least even that employment opportunities, I can't live without saying it, because a lot of people have been employed, like even the managers who are operating, the coders, the what, they have got the people, they have got the jobs, employment opportunities as the right of building these database management systems, because they are managing data, they are also retrieving data, they are doing all those have to be paid, and a lot of people have earned jobs. Then is a traceback of patients' health information status, as information is always there, so doctors can easily see the information regarding patients, and they can easily trace what is happening within their particular patients. Then, as I'm winding up for completing, I can't live without saying tangible costs. Those are the costs which are initial, like which you can see that these ones, at least you have invested in this, or at least you need this. Like training costs, of course, these doctors have to be trained, and they have to be trained by those people who have prior knowledge about database management system, and they have to be paid in return, of which I hope for those are the costs of which we have to incur as we are planning. Then repair and maintenance costs, as like in case of the system failure, or in the case of the new version that has come in case we need to improve on our database, we have to maintain and even repair. And those are also other stuffs like we have to consider, or we have to bear in our mind. Then purchasing hardware such as computers, as we know that computers, even these people are purchasing phones so that they can keep in touch, interacting the system. Also, it requires a lot of money, because a computer now is at somewhere of 3.5, 1.5 something. So that purchasing cost, we also have to bear them in mind. Then hiring programmers, those are the people that are to make our database come to integration. Also, that we can't live without saying it. So another one, I can go intangible benefits. Those are the very benefits that come along the way without even you knowing, but then they have to be acted upon. Like motivations, costs, what if workers lose morale because they are adapting the new system. So you have to keep motivating them, showing them that it is possible for you to work within that particular or very database, of which I hope that if you put those motivational costs, then you have to motivate them so that they can keep updated, or that they can keep in the line with the system, or what you have intended your system to do. Then other costs like taking your workers out, leisure costs, all those have to be beared in mind. Then user issues, I can't go without saying them. Of course, these are the very issues that we are seeing, or we have even come along the way, as we are telling people that this one will work, but then the users, or the very people who will be interacting with the system, they have different issues concerning with this, and among of them is like they are illiterate about how these computers work. So this is the one of the major or hindrance factor that is even not even making this come to integration. Another thing is like computer health related issues. Some like doctors have their related issues, health related issues like eyesight. Some cannot use computers for a long time. Some cannot even sit on the computers so that they can put patients' information. And you can't force someone who is having such health issue to adapt the new system of which they have various, or of which they are allergic to, of which I hopefully believe that that one is one of the factors of which they are user issues and they are affecting even this database to take place. Then some are even hesitant to adapt to the new system, or some even may see the system may seem to be new to them, which is not making it to be effective. Then how can we make all user adoptions? How can we make them be adapted to the system? Like how I've told you, through training them, through making them attend seminars regarding database system and training them computer skills, all those that will help them to adapt to the new system. Then risk assessment, how the possible risks that we expect or have so far, those who have tried to get those databases, what are the various issues or the various risks that they are facing. Of course, not enough skilled labor to operate these machines. I say that major of the doctors are ignorant about the computing skills, and this one is of higher level. Then system failures, where you may try to access the database, or you may try to access some users' information or patients' information, but then you cannot see that as a result of the system failure. So that one is also hectic, and even one of the risks that we have to bear in mind, that it should be there and the doctor should be made aware, so that when it happens, it should not be biased about what has happened, only to find ways of rectifying it. Then hackers, those are the people who just intend to visit the hospitals, not majorly, or some it may be like the doctors who have like bad hearts, not major like to find the patient's information so that they are needed of it because of good issues, but then because of their selfish motivations and even selfish interests. Then malwares and the viruses, those that attack the computers and even database management system stuff. Then another thing, we can't eavesdroppers, those who are there to see what has the doctor written, what has the doctor updated, when even they are not even entitled to do. So in case they have to leak out the patient's information, and someone will have to say the other one is having AIDS, even when we are even not aware of what the patient has been entitled to do. Then technical risks. Then duplication of information, duplication of patient's information by some selfish doctors. Someone is having an HIV negative, but then they are putting positive. So even that issue can arise. Then lastly, as I'm concluding, last but not least, on the limitations of the system. What were the hindrances of which I expect, or which I probably expect, of which are to be made within this very system? Personally, I have high initial costs, as you know, that you have to purchase hardware, of which they require a lot of money, which means the person who is not having those initial costs will be even who is more interested in having that particular databases, maintaining programmers, hiring those who are to train the doctors. So all those getting hardware, all those initial costs, those people who are not having them will be limited even to purchase those particular databases within their specific hospitals, even including the government of ourselves. Then lack of enough skilled manpower. How can you purchase the database of which you don't even have to put work in there? That one is the crucial factor that I can't go without even saying. So last but not least, operation managers, or even coders, to build this database management system are also expensive, of which probably I think they require a lot of money, which is not always available for it to be put on. Then another thing, as I'm concluding, then high maintenance is in cost of the system failure. If let's say that you need to rectify that and you make your database again come back to life, so those maintenance costs, even maintaining the hardware that someone has been spoiled, the hardware has been spoiled, so maintaining it sometimes is expensive, of which I probably hope and believe that with all those limitations, someone can end up not even having this particular system. So with that, I remain Amanya Laban, 2020 BIT 026 PS. I rest my case. That is my stuff regarding database or the database system management system, my project plan that I'm working on. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned.